Hello, everybody. Good evening to this week's policy Manthan discussion. Before we begin, I request all of you to please switch on your cameras. Everybody, please switch on your cameras so that we can begin with our policy Manthan discussion. Everybody else? I would just be waiting for a minute more for everybody to switch on their cameras so that we can begin the discussion, because when your cameras are on, that way we have a very interactive discussion, and that really adds on, and everybody is really interested to take part in the discussion. All right, so I guess we can start off with the policy Manthan discussion. So as we all know that today we're going to be discussing around the topic of, or the entire debate with respect to generative AI. For example, this entire thing began with the release of ChatGPT, and other software and AI tools have come into place. For example, we now have Google Bard, we also have Notion AI, we also have something from other companies. For example, Grammarly is building on its own product. So there are certain issues around, uh, entire debate around how certain schools have discontinued or, are discouraging students from using all these generative AI tools in completing their assignments, or, in other things related to their academics. There's other plagiarism debate and everything else. And beginning that, I request all of you to write down the topic that you are going to be talking about. So yes, everybody please write down your topics in the chat box. Okay, so beginning with the discussion, we have Nikita. Nikita wants to talk about generative AI and its use in education. So yes, Nikita, please go forward.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Nikita, you're audible.
Okay. So my topic is artificial intelligence and its use in education. So
sorry, Nikita, sorry to interrupt, but it would be really nice if you could switch on your camera.
actually I have joined from a laptop and I don't know why its camera is not working.
All right, no problem. Continue.
So artificial intelligence is changing the world as we know it, and nowhere is its impact more apparent than in the field of education. Generative AI, a branch of AI that involves creating new content that has never been seen before, has the potential to revolutionize the way we teach and learn. The potential of generative AI in education is vast, and it can be used to create personalized learning experiences, develop new teaching materials, and even generate entire courses. One of the most significant advantages of AI in education is the ability to adapt to the unique needs and preferences of each learner, providing them with a tailored and engaging learning experiences. In recent years, we have seen that the emergence of several generative AI based educational technologies such as chatbots, virtual tutors, and content generators. For example, AI powered chatbots can provide learners with personalized feedback, answer their question, and help them navigate the learning process. Similarly, virtual tutors can interact with learners in real time, identify areas of weakness, and provide targeted instruction to address those weaknesses. The potential of generative AI in education is not limited to individualized learning experiences. However, it can also be used to develop new teaching materials such as interactive textbook videos and simulation that can engage learners in innovative ways. With generative AI, it is possible to create teaching materials that are not only more engaging but also more effective, providing learners with a deeper understanding of complex concepts. Despite the potential benefit of generative AI in education, there are also concerns about its impact on the teaching profession. Some experts worry that AI technologies may replace teachers, leading to a future where human teachers are no longer needed. However, while generative AI technologies may be able to automate certain aspects of teaching process such as grading and assessment, they cannot replace the human touch that is essential to effective teaching. In conclusion, generative AI has the potential to revolutionize the way we teach and learn, providing learners with personalized, engaging, and effective learning experiences. While there are concerns about the impact of generative AI on the teaching profession, it is important to remember that these technologies are meant to be used in collaboration with human teachers, not as a replacement for them. The future of education is one of the possibility and innovation, and generative AI is poised to play a critical role in shaping that future. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Nikita. Moving forward, I think we can hear it from Shrishti because Shrishti is also going to talk about how AI is helping to change the entire education sector. So, yes, Shrishti.
Yeah, so am I audible?
Yes, Shrishti, you're audible.
Okay, so basically, I'll first talk about that what exactly is artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence is nothing, it is just the ability of machines such as computer, robots to do the tasks normally, which are done by the human beings instead. So, with regard to this, the machines can learn and work on their own. So I'll talk about that how is AI changing the education industry. So as we know that we are in a century where there is so much advancement of technology, the majority of people who are included in the education sector have also realized the benefits of AI in their daily life, especially with the coming of COVID time. So we can take a closer look into this. First, there is with the impact of AI, the professors, the lecturers, and as well as the teachers are being able to automate their tasks, making the work easier and faster. And the teachers and the professors have managed to organize their tasks and the assignments which they are preparing for the students in a much faster way. And then for teachers they have tasks such as grading the test or lecturing or organizing the materials for the students and correcting their worksheets, homeworks, etc. So it has become less burdening for them, and it has and artificial intelligence makes all this work little less hassle free. Then, with the help of AI, we also see that there are many uh, advancements, such as the students are able to access digital lessons, they are able to have information visualization, and also they are able to learn the content updates through it. And when we talk about assistance, it's a fact that teachers and they are not the only ones who have the access to lots of information, but students do as well have information. So this means that AI bots like ChatGPT and all that stuff, they do get assistance on any topic at any time. So traditionally, if we talk about on the part of students, they get answers to their problems when they meet with their teachers or professors, and they also get the opportunity to ask them questions in class. So uh, like I read about this that there are certain AI powered chatbots which are not meant for other stuff, but they are only designed for the education sector. So they serve as students' assistants around the clock every time. They answer your questions. They they don't provide a full solution, but they help you, and it's very helpful for the students if they are not able to get quick access to their teachers and stuff. So then we can see that it helps to identify learning disabilities because AI technology can detect the gaps, such as if many students incorrectly answered a question in a test. So it can quickly identify that this has been answered incorrectly and stuff. It also breaks the geographical barriers, obviously, because especially with the COVID time, it has been much of a good help that students can get a quick access for their queries through AI. Then the most interesting thing I found while reading on this was that it creates a learning program for students with special needs as well. Because even though there are special schools for hearing, speech, and visual impairments, the teaching process could have been more effective. So, artificial intelligence is now allowing children with special needs to study more comfortably. It allows students who are suffering from dyslexia or certain disabilities. They are enrolled in special schools, but they are not able to attend the regular classes because obviously it becomes very difficult for them. So in this case, it has been seen by many schools and also in USA that AI has been much of a greater help. Then I'm just going to wrap this up. It is, I just want to say that we are clear that AI is combined with the top notch learning materials and guidance. It helps the students learn their lessons much more effectively. It not only helps the student, but also the teacher, wherein it alerts them about the issue that need to be corrected and makes their task much easier. So that's it. That's all I read about.
Right. Thank you, Srishti, for talking about AI. And obviously, there are good sides and bad sides of AI. So, moving forward from here, we can hear it from Riddhi. Riddhi is actually going to talk about ethics and AI. So, we will have some context to talk about.
Yeah, 1 second. Hi, good evening. So I wanted to talk about ethics in general and how it relates to AI because this is very less spoken about right now. So mine is a very negative side of AI, not a very positive one. So when we talk about ethics in AI, we discuss how there comes a bias in AI. We understand AI as a learning machine, but we fail to understand that the learning machine, its its learning comes from somewhere, and that learning comes from the data that is provided to it. Number one, number two, the coding, the person who is coding that AI, the bias comes from there, and number three, from the organization that AI is coming out of. So there was this case in 2014 by Amazon, wherein Amazon created a whole AI platform in order to hire employees for them. So what happened with them? It failed very badly. Reason being, when the AI took the data for all the previous years, it only uh, it filtered resume out, and it was a very sexist AI in the sense it only saw that male IT workers are very good in their work, and anyone in their resume, if they mention women or headed any team of a woman or anything with related to female space, it rejected the resume and only forwarded the male resumes. This created a huge discussion around the case, and Amazon came into highlight because of it, since their AI bot was doing it. Now, what is the understanding? If we look at how our generation has changed, this AI bias also comes into education as well as any other field it's being used because we look at generations of data, right? Any AI that will go into that will start learning on its own. will take 70 years, 60 years, 50 years of data into it. And I understand that we are trying to change, but that change is coming now. It's in the last 10 years, in the last 20 years, after the women's suffrage movement, we have seen the change coming now. So what happens is the ratio of a biased data and the ratio of the new modern data is very high. I mean, the biased data is very high. So what happens is that AI inculcates it and feeds on it and moves on like that because it understands that that was the situation that worked out perfectly well for everyone, and it moves forward. Reason being, this becomes hampering is because what happens is it doesn't account for the changes that we are making today in our society. It doesn't account for the gender changes. It doesn't account for the people with fluidity or with different orientations. It doesn't take account into this. And the problem with another problem with it is whom do you hold accountable? Do you hold the app accountable? Do you hold the coder accountable, or do you hold the organization accountable? Because ultimately, it's an amalgamation of all three of them. Apart from that, there was another case where in a person he developed an AI in order to take different songs from existing and create another music composition. Then all the musicians took him to the court and sued him that you cannot take a music composition because you cannot release your song because it is a composition of all our music. So then what happens is the person said that I have just created an app. It's a completely um, new music composition that it has generated. So how am I liable or how are the copyrights affected? In that case, we have to understand the ethics. It's so important. Whom do we blame? Do we blame the app? Do we blame the person responsible for creating the app? Or the musicians are not entitled to the copyright because a machine is creating? So these are the things why ethics are very important in AI. Even with respect to data privacy, we don't have, for example, in a country like India, we don't have proper data privacy laws. And when we don't have such laws, bringing AI into the field of education, where it's still very new, where we still don't know how it's going to structure, it's very difficult. It's difficult, but it should be monitored a lot. Niti Aayog came up with a 115-page discussion report and did speak about how AI could be implemented, the infrastructure and everything. But it did not take into account the cultural diversification and social challenges that India faces. And even now, so for example, if we talk about AI's implementation in school, AI will not uh, discriminate between, sorry, not discriminate. AI will not be able to tell a difference between a student coming from a poor or a socially backward class and from a higher economic background. So if it's not able to make that distinction in a country like India, it can create huge issues for policy implementation. So that is why I think we have to take into account how are we going to hold accountability in AI? How are we going to implement it in a diverse culture which India has? And also, um, how do we make sure that it is more of a boon and not a bane with respect to the data, its privacy, and the access to it as well? Who has the access to this kind of data? Because when we talk today, our AI machines like Google, Alexa, they are kept. They are taking into account if the device is switched on, it's consuming all kinds of data that you're saying out, even in your general conversations. So who has the authority over that kind of data and privacy? So I think that's why these things need to be talked about as well. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Riddhi, for highlighting and for bringing in fact, a diverse perspective with respect to, the ethics around the entire AI debate. Because there have been issues wherein people are saying you shouldn't keep Alexa within your bedrooms because it hears all your conversations, right? So there are other ethical issues surrounding AI. And moving forward, we will hear it from Rituja. Rituja is going to talk about inclusion of AI in Indian education system. So yes, Rituja, please go ahead.
Sorry for the interruption.
Yes, who wishes to speak? Yes, Srishti.
Actually, I just wanted to inform that I'm not well right now, so I'm visiting my doctor's clinic. That's why I'm not switching on the camera.
All right, no problem. Yes, Rutuja, you may go ahead.
Yes. So I'll be talking about how AI can tackle various problems in Indian education system. So I would like to start with the data given by Human Resource and Development Ministry of India that there is a shortage of about 1 million teacher in every district of our country, not on in every state of our country, and not only that, but various universities and college have shortage of various faculty and they face problem in finding good qualified people for them. It is not new to Indian education system that there is this problem at secondary level and also at the higher level of the school, and hence it is important for for this Indian system to cope up with this problem, with this challenge to provide an quality education. So for that, revolutionary technological intervention could be an option, in which an intervention that would make education more inclusive and accessible. So international artificial intelligence has capacity of a machine to imitate as an intelligent human behavior, and also it has a very decision that we take in basically it also has every decision that we make in our data driven. It is the decision that we take nowadays is data driven. For example, like the online recommendation that we receive while scrolling through various websites like Amazon and Flipkart. Similarly, what if this kind of technology is used to tackle the performance of an individual student based on his previous year performance, based on his participation performance? It would just help to enhance the student and his or her performance there. And therefore, artificial intelligence can be taken seriously to fix these loopholes in our system, not only to improve quality of education, but artificial intelligence can be used to tackle various issues related to education. For example, like Andhra Pradesh government has conducted an experiment based on machine learning technology, so which collects data and analyzes the data of the students, such as the academic performance, dropout rate, quality, and skill of teachers. So such experiment shows that artificial intelligence can work as a catalyst in streamlining education system and helping the institution make the better decisions. So one of the most important benefit that according to me is accessibility and inclusive of education. So artificial intelligence system could be beneficial for the rural education as well. The student living in the remote part would be able to learn in the way which it is learned in the urban settings. So that's why implementing it in the large scale would definitely tackle various loopholes in the current system. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Rituja. So there's a concept of like, for example, we have telemedicine. So something of that sort is also applicable in the education sector. We have tele-education, wherein, for example, in rural areas, there is a scarcity of good teachers who can, effectively teach students. So, students, they generally connect through, online video conferencing services, and then all these AI generated teachers are also used to educate students. And like, for example, we see a lot of some of the unicorns, for example, Byju's and other platforms, they use some interactive form of methodology wherein students are taught about the technical aspects or the practicality of for example, in the science subjects. So therein we can think of using AI for effective learning of the students, so wherein the students are not taught about the theoretical part of the subject, but also they are taught through the interactive medium, wherein students are encouraged to learn and know about different and newer topics. So moving forward, we will hear it from Sakshi. Sakshi will be talking about how can we integrate generative AI into education. So yes, Sakshi.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so hi everyone. First of all, let's talk about the relevance of artificial intelligence in education. So basically, AI has the potential to address some of the biggest challenge in education today: innovative teaching, learning practices, and accelerate progress towards SDG 4. So as we all know that AI played a very important role for students in COVID pandemic. During the COVID-19 pandemic, virtual learning forced the industries to shift, and AI also help student for processing and accessing the suitable course for their suitable course for them. And there was a better communication with tutors, and they were given more time to focus on their life aspects also. So we can say that AI enhanced the personalization of student learning programs and courses, which promotes tutoring by helping student improve their weak spots and sharpen their skills, and ensure quick response between teachers and students. And the students and teachers can be in contact with by 24 into 7. So there's no issue regarding the communication gap. So let's talk about like what are the advantages and what aspects does AI gives in education. So first is creating courses. What happens a lot of time, and what happens that many of the time, like the money goes into creating learning courses via central department. So the use of AI streamline the course creation process, speeding up the process and reducing the cost. Helps them to help student to learn the specific courses. And AI actually simplifies and accelerated course development. Talking about offering personalized learning, AI gives student a customized learning approaches depending on the unique preferences and experience. So AI can adjust to every student's knowledge level, desired goals, and learning speed to help get the most out of the learning and offer many opportunity for personalized learning experience, where we can see that a school or any offline sector would not properly focus on the students, and they cannot provide as much as time to the students. So AI helps in that also, that sector also. And we can say that enabling universes exist, that AI breaks down the the link, breaks down the gap between students and teachers. And we can see that by AI tools, classrooms are now globally available to students, including those visual or hearing impairment, or who uses different language. We can see that the students who cannot actually attend the schools because of the fees or anything, maybe the reason. So AI brings helps them to learn it via computers and phones, which is actually a very good part. The fourth point would be like pinpointing where courses should be improved. Teachers may also know the gap between the education materials and lecture, which can confuse the learner students regarding particular concepts, whereas AI provides a way to solve this issue. This kind of system fills the gaps in explanation courses and ensure very student in building a similar conceptual information and help them to understand the subject better. And the students receive immediate feedback if they have a doubt. For example, if they have a doubt, so they have to wait for teachers to say that, teachers to reply them, or if teacher is not free, they cannot solve the doubt. AI does not do that. They immediately respond to any of your doubt at that moment only. So the concept and the doubt are being solved at the time. And we can see that automation tasks, where teachers usually have a lot to manage. We can see that teachers are busy with every event going on or any other classes work. So they are not, they are not in the moment to help the students. So what is like the grade, test, evaluate, homework, like these are the examples. So what AI does is like with the automation tools and solutions, they provide educator or students the automatic manual processes to give them more time to concentrate on their studies and their teaching. And the work of teachers is also being reduced, because there's a particular system designed by AI, so that the teachers could reduce their work and properly concentrate on the students. And promoting virtual learning. A virtual learning environment can provide group education experience, offer counseling services to students, and facilitate immersed learning experience. Learners can directly connect their laptops or mobile devices to access the content. Students can help other in soft skill coaching, self development, and life skills with interactive stimulation. So these are the aspects where AI plays a very important role in education. As we can see that we are having the meet by because of AI, and we can discuss about the more topics or any other topics because of AI. So AI plays a very important role in education. So it is important to know about AI. How would it be relevant and more useful to the education sector? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sakshi, for highlighting, and for talking in depth about the benefits of AI for education. So moving forward, we can hear it from Anushka. Anushka is going to be talking about the downsides of generative AI. So yes, Anushka, please go forward.
Hello everyone. So I would like to begin with what is generative AI. So generative AI, it is covered under the broader concept of artificial intelligence, and it is mainly concerned with generating data and content that is in the form of visuals or audio or videos. And those materials or content are new and real. They are both new and real. So its role in the field of education is being looked upon, and it is being seen as that it can bring about revolutionary changes in the field of education. And it was seen that during the time of COVID-19 pandemic, when students were shut inside their homes, AI was the only tool that allowed students to continue with their education. And when the COVID-19 pandemic was over, the role of AI, it was looked upon very deeply, and the policymakers, they came to realize that it can be continued and supplemented with the offline learning as well. So many people pointed out that AI can bring about revolutionary changes, and it can provide personalized attention to students by addressing their specific needs, and it can evaluate their past performances and can help them by suggesting how they can improve. And it can also provide round the clock availability. It can solve the doubts, but there are certain downsides that need to be focused while we are going ahead with this tool. So the downsides, as Riddhi pointed out, they are mostly related to the ethics, because AI, it works because of the pre-fed data, and the pre-fed data, it is by a particular coder or by a particular person. So it will go ahead with that data only. So whatever information you will ask, it can come with inherent bias, and it cannot address the human specific needs as humans like teachers can, because teachers, they observe and they interact, and AI is like it is based on as pre-fed data, so it is not possible for it to provide the human touch that teachers can provide. And the second thing that I would like to point about is that many people talked about that it can help in extending the outreach in rural areas. But the current problem that India faces is digital divide. And there are many places where internet accessibility is not there. And many students, they are without the devices through which they can access these contents. So I think there are certain issues that need to be addressed before going ahead with the tool of AI. And most important among them is digital divide. So it is important that these factors are considered, and AI is not seen as the sole solution for all the problems. It needs to supplement the offline learning. It cannot be the only thing that a student can go ahead with. So that's all.
All right. Thank you so much, Anushka, for highlighting the downsides of generative AI. And now moving forward, we will hear it from Archana. Archana is going to talk about how AI accommodates specially able students. So yes, Archana, please go ahead.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So most of my companions have explained what is AI and how incredible as a potential it is, like rising. And but one point I want to add is that how generative AI specifically is helping people with who are especially able to align the education along with their needs. I mean the people who are ADHD or who have faced or are facing dyslexia, who are not able to concentrate on at a point of time. So AI, which acts as an algorithm, be it in the be it in the form of message, be it in the form of video or audio, images, it is helping them out to relate better to the concepts, because it is sometimes difficult for them to completely understand text, or sometimes even in the class environment we often see that I have come across a student in my class, a batchmate of mine, who has impairment of listening and even seeing things. So what he does is he simply records the lectures of our professor, which is quite difficult for him later on to revisit it, because there is noise also, and we are whole lot of at least 200 bunch of students sit together in a classroom, so it becomes very problematic for him later on. So I think this speech to text and text to speech, and then the conversion to images is helping them out to understand the things better and making it more simple. But one con, just as the pros, there are cons to the games, because we know that it is a result of human brain. When something like there
Archana, I think there's some network issue at your end.
it was suppressed. Okay, I'll change my application. Wait a minute. Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're totally audible.
Yeah. Okay. Just as the pros, there are cons to it, because we know that human brain is the origin of everything. So whenever it comes to cognitive thinking and problem solving, we see there is a suppress of that, because it is not always correct that the chat GPT or other speechify the another generative AI will always give correct results, because there are survey and there are even evidences where the app have given wrong answers to particular problem. So I think it is somewhere suppressing our mental problem solving thing, because whenever it comes to, be it a complex thing or be it a simple thing, it is always human brain which is going to rule. So I think it should be used in limits and be used for the purposes only essential for, and the workplace we are using it is very important, because maybe in offices, in the MNCs, it can work better, but not the same goes for the schools. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Archana. Now moving forward, we will hear it from Akanksha. Akanksha is going to be talking about skepticism around the future of AI. So yes, Akanksha.
Yeah, hello, good evening, everyone. Like my friends just identified various uses of AI in different fields in education sector, and their chat box and other sectors. AI is going to rule, like how they say, be it health or be it gaming, entertainment, and other sectors. But my personal viewpoint is that I have a skepticism about the future of AI, because as many as others pointed out, that there is ethical dilemma and even security concerns that are related to AIs, because AI, they do not function similarly to human brain. They are fed by the data that is fed to them, that is provided to them, and if humans can't be impartial, they can be subtly, even not intentionally but subtly biased. So how can we expect a AI which doesn't even work like a human brain to be impartial? And how can we trust them with the future of the children who are learning from the AIs? What I mean is that they can never replace the traditional teachers, because we know what is the importance of teachers. They teach us what is not even in the textbook. They teach us the real what I say, gold that we need to, actually, uh, actually do well in our lives. And there are deeper concerns about AI because one of the primary concerns in using generative AI is that they can be used for creating fake or misleading information, like deep fakes. They are videos or images that are generated using the AI, and they can actually uh, manipulate a real person's face. And for example, it's done for politics, and it's done by different companies as well, where a real person's face, it will be delivering some message which would not be his, his real video, but it will be generated by AI using codes and whatever technology it uses. And it is similar to WhatsApp forwards. There are fakes, a progressive mode of that thing. And there was also a research that was done. This is a team of researchers studying AI in robots, which included members from the University of Washington and the Technical University of Munich in Germany. And the researchers, they gave the virtual robot 62 commands. When researchers, they asked robots to identify blocks as homemakers, Black and Latina women were more commonly selected than white women, the study showed. And when they were asked to identify criminals, Black men were chosen 9% more than white men. And actually, scientists said that robots should have not responded because they were not given information to make that judgment. So what we see is that these robots, they are not functioning similarly to a human brain, but actually a result of what data is fed to them. So these are my like skepticism regarding AI and future of AI. I mean, we can use it in the fields where more of a qualitative research or a or not so ethical related things, like they can't replace teachers. I mean to say, they can be used in other factors where the ethical dilemma doesn't occur. So that is it, I have to say.
Thank you so much, Akanksha, for highlighting your skepticism around AI and everything around that. Now, moving forward, we will hear it from Archa. Archa is going to be talking about AI with respect to inequality and transformation in education. So yes, Archa, please go ahead.
Hello everyone. I'm sorry I'm outside right now, and so I wasn't able to switch on my camera. So I think from what everyone has discussed, I guess there's a lot of anxiety about AI and its role in education, especially, and whether it will replace formal educators, and whether it will lead to plagiarism or will displace actual research. So like one side of it, so we have to specifically look at the case of India. So in India, so even one of these recent studies, data that is from Center for Monitoring Indian Economy Household Survey, which was held in 2021, it says that despite a significant growth increase of 30% in a year, only 31% of the rural population uses internet compared to 67% of the urban counterpart. So there's a huge digital divide, as we all know, in the urban and the rural region. So one problem is that the usage of AI may increase this divide. Like students may benefit more from the use of AI compared to other students, since they do not have access to these technologies. Also, the aspect of replacement of job. So we all know that over the years, technology has reduced the how people are employed. The number of people employed in the agriculture sector has reduced drastically compared to the technological update. So can that same situation happen in education? So that is also one of the anxieties. But if we look at the positive side, so especially we know during the pandemic, if there was no technology, if there was no we all use AI, like in one way or another. We use Grammarly, we use Google Sheet, we use Google Docs to correct our grammar. So it's already there. So I think one benefit is that usage of AI can actually help these students. Since every student learn differently, they have different learning requirements. People need to have, so it's actually here, even Khan Academy recently, there's a report of how they is collaborating with AI. They have already started called Khan Migo. It's a virtual virtual tutor that would help with classwork, and it's powered by OpenAI CGP4. And also even like language learning apps like Duolingo, it has like it has also collaborated with AI to give virtual experience of learning a language. So there are also very lot of positive sides to it. And I guess as teachers and as students, need to the way forward is to work with AI to understand it's, and also it's not perfect since it's man-made, it's human-made, it's as it's I think a lot of people mentioned about how it discriminates against one group over another. So we need to look into that and carefully understand and incorporate into our like institutions and education. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Archana, for highlighting the things with respect to inequality and transformation. And we really appreciate you participating in the policy Manthan despite you being out of your place. So that is really appreciated. Now moving forward, since we have a little time in hand, so I would just cold call on few people who have not really participated until now. So maybe we could hear it from Rishita, what Rishita has to say with respect to the entire thing that we have been discussing today.
So yeah, the entire conversation on AI and how it has its own downside, and it's not necessarily all good and all green. It does have its drawbacks from racism to very different aspects. That's what I learned.
All right. Moving forward, maybe we could hear it from Pranav, what Pranav has to say, if he has to add something extra from his end. So you are welcome. All right, we will hear it from Ojasvi. Ojasvi wants to talk about is banning AI a solution. So yes, Ojasvi.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. While we know about the pros and cons of generative AI, we were already using AI for the long time. But now that we see a new branch of AI, a type of new type of AI that is generative AI, I think we have to we are walking on a tightrope. Like we need to really balance the things while it helps to meet up the requirements of learning, whether it is for students or whether it is for teachers, like to make the work less burdensome, or whether it is for students, especially for the specially able students, whether to help them. But actually, we need to consider this that although generative AI, it can help a lot, and at the same time, it can spread misinformation. It can mislead people. So, what we need to do is we can't shut ourselves from generative AI because it is the future. We already know that despite the number of apps we may try to, and already people have made some apps to check whether the students are taking the content from generative AI. They have made some apps that can check the plagiarized data and all, but ultimately it also becomes difficult for teachers to check that whether the students are taking their essays from generative AI, or so it becomes difficult for them. But this is the time that we can actually question our education system through this, that whether we are going at a right pace, or whether we are using a right pedagogy for teaching, because I don't think essays are the only way that through which we should learn in a class. I think our classes should be more interactive, and even the way some universities use essays as the mere way of selecting the candidates, so it can help us to question that whether our interviewing things or teaching pedagogies are going at the right track. And at the same time, we need to make sure that in future we'll be seeing AI. So we need to make ourselves well versed with that, how we are going to see such biases and how people can use it to people can weaponize it for spreading misinformation and all. So we need to find a balance that we cannot ban it totally, because it has its sheer uses, it has its share of uses, but at the same time we do not need to get completely dependent on it, because I think the more creative we are getting, the at the same time somewhere we are stopping our potential to uh, uh, somebody is getting creative, but at the cost of it, there's opportunity cost to it, that somebody else is becoming less creative due to it, because somebody is becoming completely dependent on somebody else's creativity. So we need to check that we don't become completely dependent on generative AIs, and at the same time we need to make sure that we get we need to take advantage of whatever good we are getting from it. So the schools should not completely ban it, rather they should try to give such type of homeworks which do not which are not completely relied on such type of generative AIs or other type of AIs. So they should try to make it more interactive rather than fueling this debate of banning it completely. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ojasvi. Now moving forward, maybe lastly we could hear it from Manaswini, what Manaswini has to add.
Good evening, everyone. As per the topic, is AI should be banned or AI affects the education system. And now, what I personally feel is technology. When technology is advancing, we can't really ban things because life is only a way moving forward, and we cannot really stop technology from growing. But obviously, there are a few challenges that we have to address. Few of them, as mentioned by my friends, like the ethical concerns and students and teachers relying more on technology, and and things like digital divide, which we have been speaking about in the conferences that we have been having. So we could if we don't rely too much on if we rely too much on technology, I feel maybe the critical thinking and problem solving ability of humans decreases. So though it's important to adjust to new technologies and be updated, but it is also important to find a ways where we don't lose our critical thinking and creativity abilities. I think that's what I have to say. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Manaswini. I think Pranav wants to add in something. So yes, Pranav, please go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would just like to add, as Manaswini said, that banning is not the solution. What really needs to be done is to harbor the positive impact that AI can have on this generation, or harbor the positive, the positive contribution that AI can give. And secondly, as Manaswini said, technology is the future. So what we really need to focus on is how can we make the best of the technology that we have, how we can use it in a way that would be beneficial for us. And as far as digital divide is concerned, as far as over reliance on technology or over reliance on AI is concerned, then I feel that over reliance on anything definitely is not good. But I think relying on technology or relying on AI is not necessarily or need not necessarily be bad. What we can do is try to overcome the digital divide and use the technology, use the AI for the betterment. That is something that is one way how AI can really be beneficial for everybody, and rather than banning it altogether, we can actually make the best of it.
All right. Thank you so much, Pranav. And as we are closer to 8, I think we will just wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for participating in today's Policy Manthan discussion.